What's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and welcome to my Crystron combo video and deck profile. I'm really excited to show you guys my take on this deck because the new support is absolutely fantastic. I can't say that this is going to be the next tier 0 deck, far from it, but the deck can make a decent amount of interruptions, not like 10 negates or something ridiculous. And it's also not like a one-card combo deck like Raziel. However, it does have a decent amount of one-card combos, but most of your combos do involve like 2 to 3 cards, and even though this deck doesn't necessarily excel in terms of making a bunch of negates, it does excel at having a great follow-up and a lot of resilience through a variety of hand traps. But you already know the drill. Before we go any further, smash the like and subscribe button, and as always, if this video can get to 1000 likes, I will make a spreadsheet video on it, where I show you guys 10 combos that can beat every hand trap that you can imagine. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so combo number 1 is including, well, I mean, it's really just Crystron inclusion, yes, I know, and this card is probably the best starter in this deck. It is insane. Continuous spell card. When it's activated, you can add one Crystron card from your deck to your hand, any of them, and also the first time each of your Crystron monsters would be destroyed by battle each turn, it's not destroyed. That's relatively important. I will explain later on. And also in the graveyard, you can banish it and then revive back any Crystron monster in your grave. Oh yeah, this card does all of that. It's absolutely cracked. And you're going to be searching your Crystron Soul Foothold, which is the new level 5 monster. If this card is in your hand or grave, you can target one Crystron card you control, destroy it, and if you do special summon this card, but you're locked under machine only from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, and if it's normal or special summon, you can foolish your deck for 2 Crystron cards. A lot of Crystron monsters, their names are so complicated, I'm not even gonna try. Anyways, you're obviously gonna be using the in-hand effect, so destroy your inclusion, and then affect the foolish 2 cards. So that's gonna be the Crystron Sulfnir, as well as Thistvern. So the Sulfnir is an old monster, I mean, both of them are old. And the Crystron monsters, they used to kind of serve no purpose, but now they finally do something. As you can see, the Thistvern, you can banish it and then search your deck for any Crystron monster, and that's going to be the Smiger, whatever. Yes, Smy something and Tiger, I guess they're all puns on animals and like crystals or so, I don't even know. Anyways, we're going to be discarding it right away so that you can revive back your Sulfnir. When it is summoned off of its own effect, you also have to destroy a card you control, but when it's destroyed by battle by card effect, including its own effect, you can summon any Crystron monster from your deck. So you can actually take this drawback to your advantage. As a matter of fact, destroying your cards isn't necessarily a bad thing all the time. And you're going to be summoning the new monster, Crystron Tristalos. This card is insanity. It is really good. Level 2 tuner. On the field, when your opponent activates a card effect, you can special summon one Crystron monster from your deck except itself, and then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one machine monster using that monster you control. So the reason why the continuous effect of Crystron inclusion matters, to protect your monsters from destruction by battle the first time they would die, is to protect these cards to ensure that your opponent cannot just run over and then use effects in order to, you know, prevent you from being able to summon a monster from deck in quick sync. Anyways, the graveyard effect of this card is what really matters, and you're gonna see this in a moment. But anyway, synchro summon the new Crystron monster, Elixtilas. Again, I'm not even gonna try. Generic level 7 synchro, which almost kinda tempted me to play this Trudeau in this deck for some reason. It might make sense, but anyways, if it's synchro summon, you can add one Crystron card from your grave or banish to your hand. So even if you get shifted, at least you can recur back some of your resources. That's really cool. And if the synchro summon card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon one Crystron monster from your grave or banished. So yet again, under shifter, you might still have some options. And you're going to be recycling back the Thistvern that we banished in order to search the Smiger. Anyways, graveyard effect of the Tristalos. This is going to be destroying a synchro monster you control and summon 2 Crystron monsters from your deck, and I'll also again lock you under Crystron, machines only from the extra deck. So yeah, destroy your synchro and then summon another Sulfnir and another Soul Foothold, and the Esqueletas is going to trigger, so when it dies again, revive back the Tristalos. And then we got 2 level 5 monsters, so we're going to be summoning one of my favorite monsters of all time, Cyber Dragon Infinity. Yes, this deck is unfortunately better than Cyber Dragon at summoning Cyber Dragon Infinity. It's really sad. One card combo summons this, and we're obviously not even close to being done. No. Smiger is going to be searching this new trap card, Crystron Cluster. Remarkable card. It has 2 effects. So the first one is a continuous effect, because it is a continuous trap. Crystron cards you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects, which means no Cosmic Cyclone. I just realized it also protects itself from Cosmic Cyclone. That's ridiculous, my god. And also, if your opponent tries to go like Chaos Angel Banisher cards, how about no? That's not gonna work either. The best thing about this effect is that you can target one face-up card on the field, or up to 2 if you control a Crystron Synchro monster, shuffle one Crystron card from your graveyard or banish into the deck, so you also loop back your resources, and if you do, destroy the targeted card or cards. So again, if you control a Synchro, we can basically destroy 2 cards. And it's not like the voice continues trap, the Radiance. We don't have to send it to the grave. No, we keep it. And every single turn, we just keep destroying cards over and over. So like I said, you're not making 25 billion negates, but you're very good at grinding the game up and always making sure that you can keep playing for turn 3. And that's the beautiful thing about this deck. Anyways, next up, we're going to be using the Graveyard Effect of Inclusion. So summon back the Elixeta. So that way we have a Crystron monster so that our Crystron cluster can destroy 2 cards our opponent controls. And on the opponent's turn, whenever our opponent uses any card or effect, we can chain the Tristalos and then summon a Crystron monster from the deck and then quick sync. And we can also use the cluster to destroy up to 2 cards our opponent controls. It's 1 or 2 depending on if we have the Synchro monster or not. And yeah, we can summon a level 5 monster and quick sync into Dawn Dragster. So that is 3 interruptions off of 1 single card. Omni Negate, Spell and Trap Negate, and Proactive Pop. Again, that is really good, especially considering the insane follow-up that we're gonna have. So we can have the Sofnir that can summon itself back by discarding a Crystron card. And then we got the Sulfid Hole that can also revive itself back by destroying a Crystron card you control. And then we can keep playing for days, and also we can banish this, search a Crystron monster from the deck to the hand. It's insane. You never run out of steam. This deck is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so just to show you how consistent this deck is, you don't necessarily need the new cards in order to make this deck work. You can still have kind of full combo with 1 single card using the old cards. So Crystron Smiger, this card is also really good. Normal summon, and it has an effect on the field where you can target 1 face-up card you control, well, destroy that card, and then special summon a Crystron Tuner from your deck, and then you can't summon from the extra deck except machine monsters. Except that this effect is completely irrelevant. We're not going to be using it. We're going to link summon into El Mirage. And now you might be thinking, but Yak Sign, what is the point of doing this? Well, this card is actually better in the graveyard than it is on the field, because now we can banish it and search your deck for any Crystron spell or trap, and that it still searches your inclusion. So the difference between this combo and the other one is that this one does involve, well, I mean, it forces you to use your normal summon and search your inclusion instead of searching the cluster, the trap card. So obviously we're not going to be ending on the trap card unless we physically hard drew it or we drew inclusion, but we can still end on a very nice board. So yeah, obviously search your Sulfid Hole and then Sulfid Hole effects, send the Sofnir as well as the Test something, but this time we're going to be searching another monster. We're going to be searching the Parasiordal, Paras something and Turtle. I failed chemistry in high school. I don't know any of these crystal. Okay, don't judge me. It's not my fault if I'm stupid. Maybe a little. Anyways, revive back the Sofnir and then destroy itself. Summon the Tristalos, whatever, summon your Elix something, and then recycle back your Smiger, and then graveyard effect of Tristalos, destroy your Synchro, and then summon back 2 monsters, well, summon 2 monsters from deck with the Tristalos, and then Synchro monsters, summon back your Tristalos. So far, you should be able to understand all of that because I showcased it in combo number 1, and then overlay for Nova, Infinity, and again, inclusion, revive back your Parasiordal, there you go, and then Parasiordal effect, destroy your El Mirage, so even the useless bodies on the field, they still generate some form of advantage to some extent. And we're going to be summoning the Citri from the deck. And this card's also not too bad. So during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you can target 1 non-tuner monster in your grave, special summon it, but it has its effects negated, if any. And if you do immediately after this effect resolves, a quick sync into a machine synchro using only that monster in this card. And the Synchro monsters are banished, well, the Synchro materials are banished instead of being sent to the grave, which is not really the end of the world, because again, this deck has a very good recursion game. So this board looks absolutely pathetic. It looks like it only has Infinity and nothing else, but that is not true, because we can actually summon a lot of threats on the opponent's turn. So at any moment, we can go Citri, revive back the Sofnir, and then make FA Dawn Dragster. And then our opponent uses any card or effect, we can go Tristalos effect, summon the Sofnir or whatever, and then summon another FA Dawn Dragster. So that's 2 Spell and Trap Negate as well as the 1 Omni Negate. Again, off of 1 card, which was the Smiger. Yet again, we have a very good follow-up in the form of Smiger in hand and a stack graveyard with the cards that are currently underneath Infinity, so Sulfid Hole as well as Sofnir. Yes, again, every path leads to Rome. Alright, so this time my hand is very interesting. I have Scrapper Cycler, Crystron Smiger, and Crystron Sofnir. So 2 normal summons, because as we showcased in combo number 2, Smiger is a card that you're trying to normal summon to some extent in order to make El Mirage, but not because we care about its on-field effect. We care about its graveyard effect. So if you can use this as a discard fodder, that's actually ideal, as a matter of fact. And Scrapper Cycler is always going to be your normal summon. So normal summon Scrapper Cycler, your opponent really wants to improve that, because the advantage that you can generate off of your Crystron cards, it might be a little too much. But we can say, you know what, no problem. Summon the Sofnir by discarding your Smiger, and then Sofnir destroys itself, and we're going to be summoning the Sulfid Hole effect in order to send the 2 cards, 2 Crystron cards from deck to grave. Your opponent kind of has to stop that, otherwise we can pop off like crazy, so that's completely fine again. And now we have 2 negated monsters and nothing else in the hand. That's just assuming that these 2 Imprims are placeholders. However, we do have Souvenir in the grave as well as Smyger, so that's kind of insane because we can go Smyger effect, search the inclusion, and then inclusion effect, search the trap card, the Crystron cluster, and then we can link off into SP Little Knight, and again, we are very far from done because we can go Sulfid Hole, destroy our inclusion, and then inclusion effect, revive back the Souvenir, and then make Nova, and then make Infinity, because at no moment we were locked under Machine. Well, I mean, we were as soon as we used the Graveyard effect of Sulfid Hole, but before that we weren't, so we could still make the SP Little Knight, which is what we really wanted to do. And now we've got the Cluster, which can destroy card or opponent controls by shuffling back our Crystron cards from the grave or banished, as well as the SP and Infinity through double Imperm using a 3-card combo. That's honestly really nice. So like I said, this deck is very resilient, very great follow-up. The only issue, I guess if you can really call it an issue, but not every deck has to be like that. This deck just doesn't make 10 negates, so you can forget about making an unbreakable board in Crystron. Alrighty, for the deck profile, I really want to preface this by saying that I am not a Crystron expert because this is my first time playing the deck. So I really tried my best to make this deck as clean, as logical, and as realistic as possible by still respecting standard deck building practices. So yeah, 15 hand traps, 3 Molchemy Ferreros, 3 Ash, 3 Ogre, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm. This is very malleable. It really does depend on the environment and the timing where we get when we get those cards. So it's not like this is set in stone. This could easily turn into something else. For the engine, we are on 3 Smyger, which is a 1-card combo, 3 Scrapper Cycler, again, 1-card combo because you send the Smyger, you search the inclusion, and you play from there, and obviously 3 inclusion. So yeah, you got 9 1-card starters on their own, and also Foolish Burial. So if you got like 10 1-card starters, that's like a 77% chance of getting your engine started? Something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but it's not too bad. However, this deck, like I said, especially plays with 2 to 3 card combos. So yeah, 3 Souvenir, which is your legendary extender, 3 Sulfid Hole, which is pretty much on the same level. I mean, both of them are insane. Sulfid Hole obviously is the newer card, so it's better. But Souvenir, it never really sucked. It's just that it never really shined up until the new support that finally makes it so they can summon relevant monsters and discard cards that actually search relevant cards. Because back then, discarding a Smyger didn't really get to search you much. But now searching Inclusion and Cluster actually really does matter. As a matter of fact, the only Crystron spells and traps that we play are the new ones. The old ones are garbage. So Smyger turned from unplayable to completely insane. Thistvern is the one that searches your Crystron monsters, but shockingly enough, it's actually less good than Smyger because if you normal summon this, you cannot turn it into El Mirage. It has a 1500 attack. It's so frustrating, unfortunately. But it's not the end of the world. Anyways, 1 Citri, 1 Ryan, and 1 Pressy or Turtle. These 3 monsters are very similar. They all share kind of like the same effect as Yan and like those Yangzing monsters that can quick sync on the opponent's turn. The only difference is that they also get, I mean, not this one actually, sorry, I take it back. This one actually shares a similar effect as Smyger and Thistvern. But yeah, Citri and Rion, they can quick sync on the opponent's turn. So Citri, you revive back a monster from a grave, and Rion, you revive back a monster from your banished. So that's the difference between both. And also this one, the materials are shuffled instead of being sent to the grave. These ones, the materials are banished. And Pressy or Turtle, I forgot to mention its graveyard effect, so you can banish it from the grave and then special summon any Crystron monster from your hand. So if you have a handful of Crystron monsters and you have Pressy or Turtle, you can still normal summon this, make El Mirage, and then banish, summon another Crystron monster, and then pop off. So it's not like you're gonna complain too much about it. And also its on-field effect, not too bad. You still summon a Crystron tuner from the deck by destroying any face-up card you control. As a matter of fact, I almost consider playing a Kashtira engine in this deck, just because if I have the Kashtira field spell, I can activate that, search Unicorn or whatever, or Fenrir, and then special summon the Fenrir, search a card, and then it can go Pressy or Turtle, or whatever Smyger or Thistvern, destroy the Kashtira field spell, and then summon a monster from deck, and then play from there. But I really wanted to keep this deck as clean and as minimalistic as possible, and also as true to the Crystron strategy by not adding some random stupid engines. Otherwise, you know, what's the point of making videos on a deck that is brand new? I mean, that is somewhat new, because this deck is actually kind of old, but it was asked for the longest time. But yeah, no, it's just, we're trying to really play Crystron, not Crystron Kashtira. Anyways, Tristalos, this card is great, but it's actually not really fantastic to draw. You really want to summon it from the deck, or Foolish it or something. So I think playing 2 is good enough. You don't really want to normal summon this card. But if you do normal summon it and you have like nothing else, it's not too bad, because if your opponent does something, then you can still summon a monster from deck and then quick sync. I'm not gonna complain too much about it. And then yeah, Call by the Grave, and then 2 Thistvern, Foolish Burial, etc. So yeah, we're playing like what, 15 hand shops, another defensive card, and the rest is engine. For the extra deck, we're playing Satellite Warrior, which you can quick sync it to. It's just a little difficult because you would have to use this card right here, the Crystron Quandrax, because this is a warrior, so you cannot quick sync using your oh my god, your Crystron monsters. Again, the names are so complicated that I'm just really not gonna try. Quarion Gandrax. This one, I do remember people were playing it, like, actually seriously in just a bunch of decks generically because it really is that good. If it's Synchro Summon, you can target monsters or upon controls and or in their grave up to the number of Synchro materials used for the Synchro Summon of this card, banish them. Yeah, if you can resolve this card, it's pretty much a blowout, you're gonna win. But it's kind of hard to summon because it requires 2 or more tuners and 1 non-tuner monster. So you can use 2 level 2 tuners like Citri and Tristalos, as well as a level 5 like Sulfnir or Sulphid Hole. So even then, it's not like too difficult to achieve. The issue is that Ryan is a level 3, which makes it a little awkward because if you have a 3 and a 2, then that's a 5, so you need a 4, and you don't really play a 4 in this deck. The only 4 is Rosenix, and it's not the greatest. So if anything, you might even want to consider just not playing Ryan. Maybe cut it out for like a second Citri, or not even, because this card's also not great to draw, honestly. Navy Dragon Mech, this card can be an interruption because when it's special summon, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of tuners in your grave and negate their effects until the end of this turn. And it also has another effect when it dies. You can recycle back a tuner in your grave. It's very similar to the Vermilion Dragon Mech. That's pretty much its counterpart. Anyways, 3 Elis Kitas, whatever, the new Crystron monster. 3 Ephidon Dragster, because, again, you can only really quick sync into machine synchro monsters. So the other options that we have at our disposal, they're not that great. And Ephidon Dragster, it's really easy to summon double. So the third one is really just like just in case it becomes like a grand game somehow, you can summon this card. Anyways, 1-powered Enzectron. So this card, it's very obscure, but its effect is when this card is synchro summoned this turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. But most importantly, you take no damage. The reason why this matters is because this can allow you to sponge the 10 by Dragon OTK. So if you can quick sync into this, which shouldn't be too difficult, you can use Ryan as well as Thistvern or Smyger, and also never mind. But yeah, you can summon this and then not die. There you go. That's good enough. And finally, the Quandrax, which you already know of because this card was popular even outside of Crystron. Infinity Nova, El Mirage, and SP. No shit, right? We're trying to summon an Omni-Negate, and El Mirage is there because we want to normal summon Smyger and then turn it into this so we can have it in the graveyard. For the idea section, there are a lot of really interesting cards that we can play because this deck has a lot of tools at its disposal. So Area, the Water Channeler. This card's not too bad, but I think Win is like better in Speedroid than this card is in Crystron, because you gotta search a water monster from your deck to the hand with an equal or higher level than the other discarded monster. It's not too bad, but if you're trying to discard something like Sulphid Hole, you can't really search anything because there's no level 6 monster. Same thing with Sulfnir, so you have to discard like your your low level monsters, which is not too bad. But what are we gonna cut realistically? Are we gonna be cutting the Ryan, the second Thistvern, the second Tristalos? Maybe. I'm open to suggestions, so if you have any ways you can make this deck better, please let us all know in the comment section. Anyways, 3 Dominus Impulse, another card that you can easily play in this deck because everything is water. However, your extra deck is just a bunch of lights and everything, so that you just keep that in mind because this unfortunately locks you out of light, earth, and wind monsters. So yeah, even though it's a great hand shop, it does come with its own share of flaws. The Rosenix, which is the level 4 monster, but its graveyard effect is low-key actually really bad in its own deck. This card was better off in the Orcus deck. When people were going normal summon Scrap Recycler, send this, and then banish summon a token, Phoenix into Mermaid into full Orcus combo. So stupid. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Anyways, invoke Merkaba just in case your Cyber Dragon Nova gets Nibiru. So if you summon this and summon number 5, it's not the end of the world. You float into this, or you can float into Eovasvrok for... I'm so bad with names, I almost feel like DB Grinder 2.0 right now. Anyways, Crystron Phoenix, this card kinda... It doesn't suck, it has a great effect, but it's really hard to summon. Again, if there's like an easy way to summon this card, let me know. But you need a tuner synchro and a non-tuner synchro monster. So how the frick are you summoning this card in this deck? It's really hard to do. Usually when you're quick syncing, you're using non-tuner, you're using non-synchro monsters. But Satellite Warrior, I guess, can be the exception to the rule because you can still use, I don't know, like Ryan and Ephidon Dragster and destroy a card, but I don't know. Or you can use, you can use Ryan and Elesketa, so that's even better. Anyways, Legatia, which is a machine monster, that's the only reason why it's there. Vermilion Dragon Mech, but it doesn't really hurt the opponent. I mean, it's a good card on your own turn, but it's not like the Navy Dragon Mech that actually interrupts the opponent. As Zeus, which, good luck summoning this, you're gonna have to summon it on top of Infinity, which kind of defeats the purpose. And Typhon, which I don't even know why it's there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my Crystron combo video and deck profile. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about this deck in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.